Hello, welcome to this lesson. I'm Aki Akinfenwa, and I say big congratulations to all National Open University of Nigeria staff members who have made it this far in this training. That is the Special Quality Assurance Training. Now, in this lesson, I'll be providing a guide on how to set up and configure a local server. What is a local server? Why do you even need one? Then, how do you set up a local server? I'll see you in a moment. So, welcome back. So, in this guide, we'll look at how to set up and configure a local web server with XAMPP. What is XAMPP? XAMPP is a free and open source cross-platform web server solution stack package. And by free and open source, we mean that when you download it and you get it installed, you can use it to build numerous number of projects as much as you can. And by cross-platform, we mean that you can actually have it installed on multiple operating systems. You can have XAMPP installed on a Windows machine. You can have it installed on a Mac operating system, that's Apple iOS, and then you can have it also installed on Linux operating systems. All right. Now, this software has been developed by a group of people on the internet known as Apache Friends. I'll give you the website shortly. And the software actually consists, the solution stack consists majorly of three major things: the Apache HTTP server or web server, the database, that's the MariaDB database, and we have interpreters for scripts that have been written in the PHP Perl programming languages. So the X in XAMPP actually stands for cross-platform. Cross-platform. Like I said, it means you can install XAMPP on a Windows machine, on an iOS system, and then on a Linux operating system as well. Say your Ubuntu, for example. All right. And the A in XAMPP is for the Apache web server. Yes, the Apache HTTP server. That is actually the engine room that sits on your machine to serve you your dynamic pages. Then the M in XAMPP is actually MariaDB. It used to be MySQL, but sometimes from maybe 2015 or thereabout, MariaDB has replaced MySQL. So MariaDB is an extension or an extended MySQL. It has more features, and it is completely open source, especially after MySQL was taken over by Oracle. All right, so P is an acronym for Hypertext Preprocessor, which is one of the most popular, one of also the oldest web scripting languages available on the internet. Yeah, it's very good. And interestingly, our Moodle learning management system has been built using the PHP scripting language. Now, the other scripting language, that's what the other P there in XAMPP actually refers to, Perl, which is another dynamic, another very robust scripting language there. All right. So why XAMPP? Well, XAMPP provides a means of testing our applications locally on our PC, on our machine, before taking them to a live server. If you have XAMPP installed during the course of development, you can it makes it easier for transitioning from a local test server to a live server. And yes, what we are saying is that you can actually install and test your Moodle learning management system offline, completely, without internet. Yes. So what are the other alternatives to XAMPP? So we have WAMP. WAMP is the Windows version. The W there means it means Windows. LAMP is the Linux alternative, and I think we also have MAMP, also MAMP for the iOS version. So you can also have that on a MacBook. And if you have the time and you want to actually go through the hassle, which is not necessary, you can actually get to install the Apache on your own separately, the MySQL on your own separately, and also the PHP scripting language on the machine separately. So the advantage of that really is that you get to control the versions, unlike you need to wait for XAMPP to release the latest version bundled together, the latest instance that has been bundled together. I mean, the latest Apache, latest MySQL, latest PHP that has been bundled together before you can get your XAMPP server upgraded. However, if you want to actually go through the individual package installation, it's also allowed, but at this level may not be recommended. So how do we install XAMPP on a Windows PC? So for the purpose of this guide, we'll be making use of a Windows PC, and I'm sure the experience is also going to be similar if you are running an iOS, that's a MacBook, or if you're running a Linux PC. So step 1, download and install XAMPP. How do you do that? Go to Apache Friends download page, and that URL that has been provided there, and then you will see that you will be able to download the setup just like you have here. So when you get to that URL, you are going to see this page, and for the purpose of this training, we are going to be using the latest version, which is a 64-bit. By the way, when you get to that page, it will automatically dictate your operating system and most likely the version of your operating, whether it is a 32-bit operating system or a 64-bit. So by default, my system is 64-bit. So when I visited that page, I was greeted with this 64-bit version. So we're going to be using the one that has the 7.4.10 version. That's the one that has the PHP 7.4.10 version. All right, so click on download, and take a while depending on the speed of your internet connectivity. You get it downloaded and saved into a directory on your PC. So step 2, we run the installation just like any other installer, any other setup installation or software installation. You double click on it, and then most of the installation procedure or prompts or pop-ups that will come up, just click saying yes, yes, yes until you are able to start the installation process. And then by the time you do that, you will be able to click see a next button, and then something like this. So it's going to welcome you to the XAMPP setup wizard. You should see this, and then you just click on next. So when you do that, we go to step 3. Step 3 is where you select the component, what you want to get installed, what you want to install on the from the bundle or from the software stack. So what do you want? So you can actually pick from the list there. So by default, you will see that Apache has been grayed out, which means that there's no way we can actually run a web server without Apache. Apache is actually, like I said, is the engine, so it has been grayed out. So you actually don't have a choice, you just have to get it installed. So whether you check it or not, Apache and PHP are both going to be installed. So the MySQL there is actually MariaDB. So don't let us get it confused. It's actually the MariaDB, but it's actually an extended MySQL, so it's still safe. And you can also install the FileZilla FTP. Just select whatever you think we need, but at least to start with, we're going to need the Apache, the MySQL, the FileZilla FTP server. It's good. PHP, Perl, and then PHP MyAdmin. So by default, you can actually just accept the default and just click on next. We get everything installed. It's not going to hurt us. All right. So step 4 is going to ask us that where are we installing XAMPP. All right. So if you're on a Windows machine, you are likely going to have a user account control kind of prompt that is going to actually tell you that because of the Windows firewall, you should pick a place that is different. You know, by default on a Windows machine, your installation gets installed into the program files folder or program files 64 folder. So you want to actually pick a folder outside that to be able to do that. So I'm going to recommend that you use the C folder. So you're going to actually have something like this. I picked E during my installation, but you can actually do that. If you have a multiple partition on your on your PC, you might just be able to pick up, but it's not going to harm if you it's not going to hurt if you install it into the C folder. So by default, you are going to be given an option to install it into the C directory, that's the C drive, and the name, of course, XAMPP. So there's no need changing it. So just hit the next button and let's roll. Step 5, you're going to have a page that is going to be talking about bitnaming for XAMPP. So if you're going to be building some other projects on WordPress, on Drupal or Joomla, these are content management systems that I understand was discussed in one of the previous lessons. You can actually click on that, click on that checkbox, so that at the end of the installation, it's going to actually take you to a page or a website where you can start learning more about that. But for now, we don't need that, so we just uncheck the box and then we hit the next button to go to the next step. Step 6, we are ready to install XAMPP. So you'll see another Windows now, another message now saying that setup is now ready to begin installing XAMPP on your computer. And then when it's done, you just have to hit the next button to proceed. So you are going to see something like this, ready to install page, and then dialog box, and then you hit the next button. Step 7 is the welcome to XAMPP wizard. Now the installation has started, and then you wait for it patiently. It might take, depending on how fast your PC, it might take a little bit from 2 to some 3-4 minutes before the installation is completed. And then that takes us to step 8. Installation is complete now. Now once the installation is completed, it's going to ask you if you would like to start the control panel immediately or not. So something like, do you want to start the control panel now? All right, so we should be able to start it now, so that we see at a glance how does our new installation, our XAMPP, our local server, how does it behave. By the way, the local server allows you to be able to it makes your system act like how do we put it now, and it behaves as if people are on the internet, like they are actually accessing applications. So what you are doing is that you'll be accessing applications that you are planning to develop, that you have developed on your machine, as if you're actually accessing them on the live server. So you get to know their behavior, how they are going to behave, or how they behave on your local server will likely be the way they will also behave when you move them to the live server. All right, so this is the installation complete wizard screenshot. You should be able to see this if everything goes well. So when you click or hit the finish button, we move to step 9. And if you are using a Windows PC, you are likely going to see this Windows firewall prompt here, asking you to allow Apache server to be able to work on that PC, especially to be able to communicate using your network. So you will need to check that box there and say allow access, so that Windows firewall can actually allow Apache HTTP server to work, or to allow to walk through it. All right, so step 10, XAMPP has been installed, and there's time now to run our installation. Let's see how it looks like. So you're going to have something like this. By the time you click on finish installation, the next page you're going to say is this. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to start our server. So the 2 critical services you need to start are the Apache web server and the MySQL service. The MySQL is actually the MariaDB. Yes, that is the MariaDB. And you can see from here, when you click on the start button for Apache and MySQL, you have something like this. All right, so by the time you click on the Apache and the MySQL, you are likely going to have a prompt, and if you don't have it, you can just skip this step and just go to step 2. So if you have this prompt again, this is for MySQL daemon. That's the MySQL the MySQL service. Yes, so you just do the same thing that we did for the Apache, and then allow Windows firewall to unblock, or to always allow the MySQL service to work. So just check the private networks and click on allow access. Now step 12. Finally, our XAMPP is up and running. Now, how do you know it is running? You're going to see this. You can see that from the part where we click on start on Apache and MySQL, and now you can see that Apache and MySQL now are having a green status. Yeah, they're having a green status, and you can see the FileZilla and the Mercury and the Tomcat service are all blank. They are grayed out, so that means they are not working. And you can also see the port. So Apache right now on that PC or on our test PC is using port 80. That's natural, what Apache normally would use. And the MySQL database normally will also use the port 3306 on most operating systems. All right. So now that we have finished installing our XAMPP, let's just test it. Is it working? So just pick any browser of your choice. It could be your Chrome, your Mozilla, your Edge, your Internet Explorer, any of the web browser. Just type http localhost. Yes, http / localhost. Then you will see something like this. Voila. If you see something like this, you have successfully installed XAMPP on your PC, and you're ready to start using your PC or your machine as a server. That's very interesting. You are making it a server. All right. So now we can look at all the pages, the applications page, the frequently asked questions page. Everything is being served on your local server as if you're on the internet. So try to go through the menu links, navigate through them, see what each of those pages are, and then go back to the starting page. But we are going to do something. So this is the XAMPP applications page. When I click on applications, this is the PHP page. When I click on the PHP info, and then this is the PHP admin page. When I click on the PHP admin, so by the way, PHP admin is another web application that have been bundled into XAMPP, and it allows us to be able to manage our MariaDB or our MySQL database. So instead of accessing or using your command prompt to access your database, this web interface provides a very lovely tool for us to be able to create database, create usernames on our database, and do some other manipulations with our database, of course, MariaDB database. All right, so let's try to configure our XAMPP for a fresh module installation. Yes, we are trying to we are trying to see if we can actually have module installed on this local server. So how do you do that? Go to your XAMPP installation path. Where you had XAMPP installed in our previous in any of the previous guide, and then you will locate a folder called htdocs. Yes, htdocs. It's that htdocs is going to be inside the XAMPP installation folder. Now when you get there, you will now see a couple of items there, but don't worry, just create a new folder. Call it module. Yes, create a new folder and call it module. So this is it. You go into your installation folder where you have installed XAMPP, most likely in the C drive if you follow the guide. So it's going to be inside C. You locate XAMPP, that's the directory. Inside XAMPP, you locate htdocs. Now inside htdocs, create module directory. Nothing is inside it. We are just testing, trying to see how we can configure our XAMPP for a fresh module installation. All right, so once that step is done, just open up a web browser and type http://localhost/module. Remember, module is the name of the folder we created inside the htdocs. So what this URL will do is that by default, Apache has been configured to make the htdocs its server root. Server root is like the landing page, the landing directory for anything that is coming through the Apache web server. So when you do that, you are going to see something like this, and this is an indication that our server is working. So the next step here is just for you to go to Moodle site, download your Moodle zip file, extract it here, and begin installation. So voila, we did it. Yes, we did it. Yes, I'm proud. I'm glad that we all did it. So you can also now proceed with your Moodle Learning Management System installation as will be described for you in other lessons. So from me, it is a bye for now. Thank you for your rapt attention.